Welcome aboard the Bitcoin Express. My name is Chase. Let's get to it. Are North Koreans allowed to buy Bitcoin? Like you, I had this question, so I decided to look into it. I spent hours researching the topic, and what I found was pretty scary, and I think you're going to find it scary as well. And if you're interested in what I found, then follow along. So the first place I went was a simple Google search, like anyone else would do. So I typed in how to buy Bitcoin in North Korea. And on the first page, I saw all these articles speaking about South Korea over and over again. Not many articles having to do with North Korea, but the first result actually showed 5 exchanges to buy Bitcoin in North Korea 2020. So I clicked on the link and it brought me to this page. The first thing I saw on the page, it says, North Korea is a popular place for people to buy Bitcoin and is home to many Bitcoin ATMs. So right away, I was very skeptical because this doesn't really make any sense. Bitcoin represents ultimate true freedom, and we're speaking about a country, North Korea, which is not known for their freedom. This is why you came to this video, because you understand North Korea is a pretty restricted place. So can you actually buy Bitcoin? So I went down this list and it wasn't really making sense. So I decided I'm going to further look into this. I'm going to do all the work here so that you don't have to. So I went down the list. I saw Local Bitcoins, which is a peer-to-peer crypto exchange. I saw Binance, one of the most popular exchanges in the world. I saw Changely, which is an instant crypto exchange. So I went to the first source. I went to localbitcoins.com to see if this is true. So I went here, and this is a website where you can buy peer-to-peer. You can buy in person, you can buy online, you can do it through Venmo, cash payments, bank deposits, whatever the people in this marketplace are willing to accept. So I looked for North Korea on the list here, and I couldn't find it. So I decided, let me just change the wording a bit. What about Democratic Republic of North Korea? I couldn't find it. What about just Republic of North Korea? I couldn't find it, and I couldn't find any information on whether this service actually works in North Korea. So I went to a similar platform. This is called Paxful, and on Paxful, they have a list of banned countries, and these are lists that are on the sanctions list created by the Office of Foreign Assets Control. And on the list, directly, North Korea. So Paxful does not service North Korea. So at this point, I can assume, or we can assume, that Local Bitcoins does not work either in North Korea. But what's very interesting about this list is that even though there are countries on the OFAC list, such as Cuba, Iran, and some others, they still have access to Bitcoin through other methods or through specific exchanges. Right here, you see Iran and Cuba on the list. Yet, we have seen over the last couple of years that Iranians are turning to Bitcoin for money transfers, and that Cubans are turning to Bitcoin to access global economy. So there is access to Bitcoin in these countries. And what's even crazier about this is that these platforms even service countries where Bitcoin is illegal by the government. On this list here, I have countries where Bitcoin is banned. So we see Bolivia and we see Vietnam. So if I go back to Local Bitcoins, I see there's a marketplace in Vietnam for buying and selling Bitcoin through different methods. We see cash deposits, national bank transfers, through credit card. Even in Bolivia, again, where it is illegal, we see a market. It's smaller, but we still see a market where people can buy it. So at this point, this article said Local Bitcoins, incorrect. So I went to the next source, Binance. So Binance, on their website, they reported in their terms of service that they do not service any countries that are on this OFAC list from the Office of Foreign Assets Control. So right off the bat, we know Binance does not work in North Korea as well. What about Changely, the instant crypto exchange? I went to their terms of use, I scrolled down, and right there on the page directly, it says they do not service North Korea. So this article we're reading is not valid. I don't know how this article made it to the top spot of Google, but it just goes to show you, obviously, when you find something online, you need to double check. Even if you're watching this video, double check what I say. So I'm running left and right. I can't find an answer. So I decided, let me go just find out, is Bitcoin even legal or is it illegal in North Korea? Because I didn't see it on any of these lists of banned countries. So maybe it is legal. And if you are enjoying this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. So I went back to Google and I searched for, is Bitcoin legal in North Korea? And again, I couldn't find any concrete answers. All I could find were articles explaining how North Korea is using cryptocurrency. Again, this is the North Korean government is using cryptocurrency for money laundering and to evade US sanctions, and also how North Korea, again, the government and the leaders of the country have amassed $670 million worth in Bitcoin through hacking. So at this point, I understand that the government of North Korea are very interested in cryptocurrency. They even had an Ethereum developer named Virgil Griffith come to their country, to North Korea, to teach the leaders over there how to use Ethereum and how to use cryptocurrency. And this man, Virgil Griffith, ended up being arrested by the United States because he was not given permission to go. So I'm still trying to find out, is Bitcoin legal in North Korea? And I can't find any answers. So I go to the Wikipedia page that I usually follow. This is always up to date, and it shows a list of Bitcoin by each country, whether it's legal or illegal. It has every country on it. So I scroll down and I go to the section for Asia. And as I'm looking through Asia, I'm looking for North Korea, Democratic Republic of North Korea, Republic of North Korea, and I don't find it. And then this is the time that I started to get a little scared, or not, I didn't get scared, but what I started to find was pretty scary. I realized that we don't know if you can buy Bitcoin in North Korea, and we don't know if it's legal in North Korea because we don't really know anything about North Korea. It's unknown. The information is extremely limited. No one knows from the outside what's going on in North Korea, and North Korea doesn't share information with anyone on the outside. And this might not be a surprise to many. I was aware that North Korea was a highly censored country where people don't really have access to information. But as I was making this video and doing this research, I started to realize that North Korea being censored is an understatement. It is way more censored than I could have ever imagined. Look at this list over here of 20 things that you're not allowed to do in North Korea, or that you have to know before heading out to North Korea. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to show you some of these examples just to show you how absurd this is. So in North Korea, you're not allowed to wear blue jeans. In North Korea, there are only 3 TV channels. Number 3, in North Korea, there is no access to World Wide Web or Wi-Fi. So this pretty much answers our question on citizens buying Bitcoin. If they don't have World Wide Web, if they don't have Wi-Fi, they can't receive Bitcoin. Because even in other countries where the government might not allow Bitcoin, as long as you have the World Wide Web or you have Wi-Fi, you have access to a phone, you can create a wallet and someone can send you cryptocurrency. Maybe you live in a country where it's not allowed, you have a family member in another country, you call them up, you give them your address, and they send you Bitcoin. So there is a way to get it in almost all these countries in the world, even where it is illegal by the government. And as I scroll down this list, we see some other rules that are super strict. You're not allowed to own a Bible in North Korea. Number 6, you can call abroad with a local SIM card. So you can even make an international call. So even if someone were to somehow have access to the web and they were able to download a wallet, now no one can even send them cryptocurrency because they can't even make a call outside of the country. Even in North Korea, there's a specific type of haircut that you must get. You're not allowed to get creative with your haircuts. And then the last thing I want to cover here is that foreigners are not allowed to take photos or even talk to local people without specific permission. So we really don't know what's going on in North Korea. That's why I am still in shock that Dennis Rodman, the retired basketball player, was able to go to North Korea in the past and spend some time with Kim Jong-un, because Kim Jong-un is a huge Chicago Bulls basketball fan. I guess this shows you the power of sports and basketball, that it could really bring people together. But still, I can't believe that this actually happened. So coming back to the censorship part of North Korea, there must be a way we can find out this information, what's going on there, right? There is a way, but it is very risky. So as I mentioned, North Koreans are not allowed to make international calls. But there is an illegal black market of people smuggling in Chinese phones with Chinese SIM cards. And from those phones, people can make a call outside of the country. And this is very difficult to obtain. So even if you get your hands on one of these phones, then you have to go to a part of the country that's close to the Chinese border, and then maybe you can pick up a signal from a neighboring Chinese network. But the problem is not many people do this, because if you get caught, the penalty is very harsh. You can get up to 10 years of prison, or in some cases, even worse. So this is making a phone call out of the country. What about someone that escaped the country? Maybe we can find out information from them. So people that escaped North Korea are known as North Korean defectors. So they escaped the country, but the problem is these are very few. It is extremely difficult to leave the country. If you get caught in the process, you will be in prison, and again, maybe even worse. And then even if you succeed, there have been stories of people that actually have successfully escaped North Korea to another country, and as soon as they got to the new country, the country did not allow them in, and they deported them back to North Korea. And of course, we know what happens to someone that tried to escape and gets deported back to North Korea. So buying Bitcoin in North Korea, at this point, it seems pretty impossible. But again, we don't have any concrete information because we don't know anything about North Korea when it comes to cryptocurrency. I guess the only thing we do know for that is certain is that the government is a big fan of Bitcoin and Ethereum for money laundering purposes, and also for evading US sanctions. I am extremely curious about this topic and I want to know more, but the problem is I can't. As I went over in this video, the information is so limited. So if you're watching and you have insight on this topic, please share it in the comments below. If you know somebody that has escaped North Korea, if you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that has any information on this, please put a comment down below or send me a private message on Twitter. This is a topic I really need to look into and I need to learn more about. I hope you found value in this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.